Chosen one, something is ending right now, and the part that should have alarmed you, the part that makes this message necessary, is that you have not even noticed. There is a clock that does not hang on any wall in your home. It ticks in the heavens, not in your hallway. And right now, in the exact minute you stopped everything to hear these words, that clock has crossed a threshold that very few will ever see. You have been given a window, not forever, not again next year in the exact same shape. A window, a specific, measured, appointed opening, and it is closing while you are busy, with 1,000 small things that feel urgent but are not. This message reached you because something older than algorithm, older than coincidence, wanted you to stop. Nothing about this moment is random. Nothing. For the next 40 minutes, I am going to show you exactly why the clock is almost at zero for you specifically, why you cannot feel it, and the 3 paths still available before the last second passes. Do not listen to this casually. The window does not wait for you to be ready. Before I say another word, I need you to do something small. Stop scrolling. If your phone is next to you, turn it face down. If there are people in the room, this is not for them. This is for you. Let your shoulders drop from your ears. Take one breath, slow, through your nose, and let it out through your mouth. Good. Now I want you to look around the space you are in right now. Notice the light. Notice the hour on the clock. Notice the small, ordinary details of this exact moment of your life. Because somewhere in the middle of this ordinary hour, something not ordinary is happening. I want you to picture yourself standing on the edge of a harbor at dusk. The water is gray. The wind is soft. There is a ship pulling away from the dock, slow and quiet, without any horn, without any announcement. You are standing on the shore, watching it leave. And the strange part, the part that keeps you frozen, is that you cannot tell if that ship is supposed to be yours. Hold that picture, because by the end of this message, you will know exactly which ship I am talking about, and exactly how close you are to the moment it disappears from view. Now listen carefully. For the past few weeks, maybe longer, you have been showing 5 specific signs that tell me your window is already open and already closing. Most people never see these signs in themselves. Most people never get the chance to have them pointed out. You are getting that chance right now. I am going to walk you through all 5 of them. Then, the root cause underneath all of them. Then, 3 practical paths that are still completely open to you. And before this message ends, I am going to speak something over your life that I believe will stay with you long after the video is over. Stay with me all the way to the end. The last 12 minutes are the part that changes everything. So, the first sign. You have been postponing one specific decision for weeks now. It is not a big decision. It is small. An email you have not answered. A conversation you have not started. A phone call you keep meaning to return. Something that should take 5 minutes, and yet, every time you think about it, your body gets a little heavier, a little more tired, a little more certain that tomorrow is a better day for it. That is not laziness. I need you to hear that clearly. That is not laziness, and it is not a character flaw. What you are feeling is the weight of a decision that belongs to your closing window. Your spirit knows it is a kairos decision. Your mind has been trying to treat it like a chronos decision. And the heaviness you feel, the strange friction around this one small task, is the gap between the two. You have been carrying this weight for weeks without knowing what it was. The second sign is stranger. You have been unusually tired, not after effort, but after rest. You sleep 8 hours and still wake up drained. You take a day off and feel worse by the end of it than when you started. You sit in a quiet room, and instead of feeling restored, your body refuses to relax. This is not burnout. Burnout comes after you push too hard. This is the opposite. This is the tiredness that shows up when you are standing still while something inside you is asking you to move. The tiredness of misalignment. The tiredness of a window open beside you while your body is pointed the other way. Rest cannot fix it, because rest is not what your spirit is asking for. Your spirit is asking for motion in the right direction. And until you give it that, sleep will not feel like sleep. And the third sign is the one almost nobody talks about. For the last few weeks, you have been uncharacteristically moved by small things. A song on the radio made you tear up for no reason. A stranger held the door open for you, and you felt something crack in your chest that had no name. A scene in a movie, a photograph, an old memory you had not thought about in years, and suddenly your eyes are wet and you are asking yourself, what on earth is happening to you? Your emotional amplitude has been turned up without your permission. That is not hormones. That is not the weather. That is not a random chemical shift. Your nervous system is doing something very specific right now, something that science actually has a name for. And a little later in this message, we will come back to what it means, because it connects directly to one of the paths still open to you. Remember this moment. It matters more than you think. You have been postponing one small decision. You have been tired after rest. You have been moved by things that never used to move you. 3 signs, and they are only the surface. Because the next 2 signs are the ones most people cannot see until they are pointed out. And they are the signs that tell me your window is not just open, it is closing, and it is closing sooner than you are ready for. Let me show you what is really happening inside you. Come back to the harbor with me for a moment. The ship that was sitting at the dock a few minutes ago, slow and quiet, is further out on the water now, not gone, still visible, still reachable, but moving. And this is where we pick up the 4th sign. You have been noticing time differently lately. Certain hours of the day feel heavier than they used to. Certain afternoons stretch into something that feels almost sacred, and certain evenings collapse in on themselves so fast you cannot remember what you did with them. You keep looking at the calendar and thinking, how are we already here? How is it already this month? How is this year going by so quickly when every week feels so long? You are suddenly aware of how old you are in a way you were not last year. Not in a sad way, in a precise way, like your body is keeping track of something your mind has not caught up to yet. That is not a midlife crisis. That is not anxiety. That is your inner clock, the real one, finally trying to wake up the outer one. You are beginning to feel the difference between the time you count and the time that counts you. And the 5th sign, the one that actually brought you here today, though you did not know it when you first stopped to listen. You have been sensing a pull towards something you cannot quite describe. Maybe a decision you have been half avoiding. Maybe a direction you keep feeling and then talking yourself out of. Maybe a truth about your life that keeps rising up in quiet moments and getting buried again the second the noise comes back. That pull is the window itself speaking. It is not urgency, it is not panic, it is steady and patient and very specific, like a hand placed gently on your back, pointing. And most people, most chosen ones, spend years ignoring that hand, not because they are rebellious, because nobody ever told them what it was. There is a story in the old texts about a young woman named Esther. She was placed in a position of enormous influence inside a kingdom at the exact moment her people were about to be destroyed. And when the hour of her window arrived, her uncle said something to her that has echoed across every generation since. He said, "Who knows if you were not placed here for such a time as this?" Here is the part most people miss. The danger in Esther's life was not the king's decree. The danger was that she might not realize she was in kairos, that she might treat the moment like any other day. That the shape of her moment was so specific, so time-bound, that if she missed it, she would not get another one in the same form. Her greatest risk was unawareness. That is your greatest risk too. Not failure, not rejection, not the thing you have been afraid of for years. Your greatest risk, right now, in this exact season, is that you will walk through the shape of your kairos without recognizing it. I cannot tell you the exact day your window closes. I am not here to invent deadlines, but I can tell you the pattern, and the pattern is already playing out inside you. So let me give you the language the ancients had for this, because without the language, the pattern stays invisible. There are two kinds of time. The Greeks knew this. The people who wrote the old sacred texts knew this. They used two completely different words for what we lazily collapse into one. The first word was chronos. Chronos is the time you count, the seconds, the minutes, the calendar on your wall, the deadline at work, the birthday coming up next month. Chronos is sequential. Chronos is neutral. Chronos moves at the same speed for everyone, every day, forever. The second word was kairos. Kairos is the time that counts you. It is the opportune moment, the appointed hour, the door that opens and stays open for a specific season and then closes. Kairos does not care about your schedule. Kairos does not repeat. Kairos is personal. Chronos counts. Kairos calls. Chronos is measured. Kairos measures you. Chronos repeats. Kairos passes. Chronos is neutral. Kairos is personal. And here is the part that unlocks everything. Your whole life, you have been trained to track Chronos. Your phone tracks Chronos. Your calendar tracks Chronos. Your job, your bills, your errands, your reminders, every single system around you is optimized for Chronos. There is almost nothing in your daily life teaching you how to read kairos. So when a kairos window opens in your life, it does not show up in your calendar. It shows up in your body, in your sleep, in your strange tiredness, in your emotional amplitude, in the small decision you cannot bring yourself to make, in the pull you cannot quite name. These 5 signs I have been describing to you are the signs of a kairos window. They are the only language kairos has to reach a chronos mind. And I hear the Father saying this to you right now, clearly, without decoration. I have never measured your life in hours. I have measured it in moments of recognition. And I am speaking to you inside one right now. This is the moment, not next month, not when you are ready, now. Now the question becomes, if this window is open, if kairos is right here, why can you not feel it the way you should? Why is it not loud? Why does it not shake you awake? There are 2 forces working against you. They are not evil. They are not demonic. They are just the architecture of how a human being survives. But right now, in this season, they are the exact things keeping you asleep. The first force is comfort. Your nervous system is built to keep you inside the patterns that have kept you alive, even when those patterns stop serving you, even when the season demands you outgrow them. Your body will choose the familiar pain over the unfamiliar growth every single time unless you interrupt it on purpose. The second force is decision fatigue. By the time you finish work, by the time you finish the errands, by the time you finish the small, endless choices of a modern day, the part of you that can recognize kairos is completely depleted. You are not weak, you are spent, and a spent mind cannot read a kairos window no matter how clearly the window is opening. It is comfort, it is decision fatigue, it is the gentle lie that says later, Your brain is not broken. Your brain is over-optimized for Kronos. That is the diagnosis. And I want you to hear something about yourself that you might not have heard before. There is an old picture that has stayed with me for years, the chrysalis, the cocoon that the caterpillar enters before it becomes the butterfly. Here is the part most people do not know. The butterfly does not emerge when the chrysalis is comfortable. The butterfly emerges when the shell becomes unbearable. The shell has to crack. If your old shape is starting to feel tight right now, if your old patterns are starting to feel suffocating, if the life you built a few years ago is starting to feel too small for you, you are not failing. You are cracking, and the cracking is how the window opens. Take a breath. The diagnosis is over. Now we build. So here is where we are. You know the 5 signs. You know the root cause. You know the 2 forces that have been keeping you asleep inside your own kairos. That is the whole diagnosis. And it is not the whole story, because right now the ship is further out on the water than it was when we started. Not gone, not out of reach, but further. And you still have 3 ways to reach it. You can swim, you can signal, or you can run to the next port. 3 paths. Choose one or braid them together. I am not handing you a prescription. I am handing you the first real options you have had in months. And I need to warn you about the 3rd one before we get there. The first 2 paths, most chosen ones can guess at on their own. They are practical. They are logical. You have probably heard versions of them before, even if you never put them together the way we are about to. The 3rd path is different. The 3rd path almost nobody discovers without being told. And it connects directly to that 3rd sign I talked about earlier, the strange heightened emotion in your chest, and to something your nervous system is doing right now that science actually has a name for. Stay with me for the 3rd. It is the part that holds everything together. Let me start with the 1st path. I call this one the 72-hour threshold audit, and I want you to hear the name once because every single word in it matters. 72 hours, threshold, audit. Here is how it works, and here is why it is different from anything else you have probably tried. Most self-help exercises ask you to list your goals. This one asks you to list your avoidances, because kairos does not hide inside the things you are already doing. Kairos hides inside the things you are avoiding. The first step is a reverse scan of the last 7 days. In your mind right now, start walking backwards through your week. Yesterday, the day before that, going all the way back 7 full days. And I want you to notice, as you walk backwards, every single decision you postponed, not the big ones, the small ones. The email you kept not answering, the conversation you kept not starting, the appointment you kept not scheduling, the message you drafted and never sent, the call you meant to return on Tuesday, and here we are. Most of them will feel like nothing. 5 or 6 of them will feel heavy. Those heavy ones are the ones carrying kairos weight. That is the first step. The second step is where it gets counterintuitive. Most people, when they find a postponed task, immediately sit down and write it on a list. Do not do that. Writing it down is a Kronos move. Kronos says, I will put you in my calendar and come back to you later. Kairos will not let itself be written down. What you do instead is speak it out loud, wherever you are. In your car, in bed, in the middle of your kitchen, it does not matter. Find the single heaviest postponed decision from your reverse scan and speak it out loud using your actual voice. Just the decision, just the name of it. Something strange happens when you speak an avoided decision out loud. Your body registers it differently. Your chest tightens for a moment. Your breath catches. That tightening is your nervous system finally acknowledging what your mind has been carrying in the background for weeks. That is the sound of the window recognizing you back. And if speaking feels wrong where you are right now, if you are not alone, if the words do not want to come out, you can do the next best thing. Write that one decision in the comments below. Just one line. Not for me, for you. Your body treats written public words very differently from hidden private ones. The exposure is what breaks the spell. Speak it or post it. One decision. That is the second step. The third step is where 72 hours comes in. Within 3 days of this message, you will take one single action on that heaviest decision, not the whole thing. The smallest possible motion toward it, the smallest possible touch. If the decision is a conversation, you send one text that opens the door. If the decision is an appointment, you open the calendar and pick the hour. If the decision is a truth you have been avoiding telling someone, you write the first sentence of it in a note to yourself. That is it. One small action, inside 72 hours. And here is the strange part. Every single chosen one I have watched try this. Every one of them reports the same thing. The act of making one small move on the heaviest avoided decision opens something inside the next 30 days of their life that they cannot explain. A door opens that they were not expecting. A conversation finds them. A piece of clarity arrives, not because the action was magic, because the action was the key that turned kairos from a window watching you into a window you walked through. That is the first path. Now the second path is faster and in some ways simpler, and for people who are severely overstimulated right now, this is where I would start. I call it radical calendar contrast. For the next 48 hours, you remove 3 specific inputs from your life and add 2 specific spaces. 3 out, 2 in. That is the whole structure. The 3 inputs you remove are not mysterious. They are whatever is loudest in your particular life right now. For most chosen ones, it is social media scrolling, news feeds, and background entertainment. Cut them for 48 hours, not forever, 2 days. The 2 spaces you add are equally simple. 1 meal eaten in complete silence with no screen and no music. 1 walk with no earbuds, no podcast, no audio of any kind. Here is the mechanism underneath this. Kairos needs bandwidth to be heard. Chronos consumes bandwidth all day long through endless small inputs. Most people cannot hear kairos because they have no bandwidth left over, not because their spirit is broken. When you create the contrast, when you go from overstimulated directly into selected silence, your nervous system snaps into a different frequency, and suddenly you can hear the thing you have been unable to hear for weeks. 48 hours, 3 out, 2 in. That is all it takes to reopen the channel. Now, before I show you the third path, I want you to do something with me. Let me pause here for a moment. You have been listening to this for almost 25 minutes. Your body has settled into a specific posture. Your breath has found a specific rhythm. You came into this message carrying something, and I want to acknowledge that, because we are about to walk into the part that matters most, and I do not want you to enter it depleted. Nothing to do right now, nothing to figure out, nothing to fix. Just notice that you are still here. Most chosen ones who started this message with you are no longer listening. That is a neutral fact. It does not make you better. It means something about you chose to stay, for a reason your conscious mind has not fully caught up to. Take one breath with me. Slow in, slow out. Good. Now, the third path. Earlier, when I was describing the third sign, I told you your emotional amplitude has been turned up in the last few weeks. I told you your nervous system is doing something very specific right now, and that science has a name for it, and that we would come back to what it means. We have arrived at that part of the message. Because the third path is not a behavior, the third path is a frequency, and in the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly what that frequency is, what it does inside your brain when you are in it, what the ancients called the state it creates, and why it is the single most important doorway into kairos that almost nobody in your life has ever talked about. Come with me. The third path is called frequency alignment. I want to teach this one carefully because most of what gets said about frequency on the internet is nonsense, and I do not want to add to that pile. Here is what is actually real. Your brain, at every moment of every day, is running at a dominant wave frequency. When you are scattered, running errands, answering texts, your brain is usually sitting somewhere between 10 and 20 cycles per second. That is called beta. Most modern people live there all day. There is a much higher frequency, sitting around 40 cycles per second, that researchers call gamma. Gamma is the state your brain enters during moments of deep insight, sustained attention, and very specific kinds of calm alertness. The monks who meditated for 40 years produced gamma on command. The artists who talk about being in the zone were inside gamma without knowing what to call it. And here is the part that matters to you. Kairos can only be perceived from inside gamma. That is not mysticism. That is perceptual bandwidth. When you are in beta, your brain is spending all its bandwidth on tracking surface input. There is nothing left over to perceive a kairos window. When you drop into gamma, the bandwidth opens, and suddenly the patterns you could not see become clearly visible. The 5 signs I described earlier, the postponement wait, the strange tiredness, the heightened emotion, the time distortion, the pull, these signs are kairos broadcasting at gamma frequency. Your body has been receiving them. Your beta-locked mind has been unable to decode them. And I hear the Father saying this to you, quietly, without flourish. You have not been failing. You have been operating at a frequency where kairos could not reach you. This is not your fault, but it is now your responsibility. Let me tell you about a chosen one I was in correspondence with not long ago. He is a man in his early 40s, the provider in his household, a quiet person, not the kind who talks about seasons or windows or anything like that. He reached out because he had been doing everything right on paper and nothing was moving. When we walked back through his last 2 years, what emerged was stunning. He had been offered a promotion at his company and let it quietly expire without answering. He had been approached for a partnership by a former colleague and never returned the follow-up calls. He had been told more than once by people who saw him clearly that there was a specific door in front of him, and he had walked past it 3 different times. He was not rebelling, he was sleepwalking. He tried the 72-hour audit, he did the 48-hour contrast, and when he spoke his heaviest avoided decision out loud, it turned out to be a phone call, just a phone call, to a person he had been avoiding for reasons he could no longer remember. On day 11, that person called him back, unprompted, with a project offer he had not seen coming. He did not create the opportunity. He created the capacity to recognize it. All right, before we go any further, I want to pause and consolidate. You have received a lot in the last 30 minutes, and I want to make sure the core stays with you, because if you walk away from this message with nothing else, I want you to walk away with these few things held clearly in your mind. You have a window open in your life right now. Your mind is over-optimized for the time you count and underprepared for the time that counts you. 5 signs tell you the window is active. The postponement wait, the tiredness after rest, the heightened emotion, the distortion of time, the pull you cannot name. The root is comfort paralysis plus decision fatigue. It is not a character flaw. 3 paths are open: the 72-hour audit, the 48-hour contrast, and frequency alignment. None of this requires anyone's permission. All of it requires your recognition. Now, about that third path. Frequency alignment is the hardest to build on your own, and I want to give you the most support on it. For years, researchers at major institutions, including places like MIT and Princeton, have been observing what happens when the brain is guided into sustained gamma through specific audio sequences. The tradition of using sound to shift brainwave states is not new. What is newer is the precision of the patterns. A researcher named Dr. Robert Lake has spent most of his career building one of the most studied audio sequences in this space. His work is not about hype. It is about the actual wave patterns that reliably move the brain from beta into gamma within a measurable window of minutes. You were always the kind of person who felt time differently than the people around you. That is not new. That is something you have been carrying since you were a child, even if you never had a name for it. Chosen ones are wired for kairos. Your brain has always had the architecture for gamma. It has just never been trained to get there on command. Remember that third sign I asked you to remember? The heightened emotional amplitude I mentioned earlier. That was your gamma wiring trying to come online. That was your system already reaching for the frequency on its own. It has been asking for one specific thing, the right pattern to finally stabilize it. One woman who wrote to the channel recently, a teacher in her late 30s, described using this kind of audio for 14 days straight. She said on day 9, she finally made a phone call she had been avoiding for almost a year. She did not schedule it. It just happened. The call took less than 6 minutes, and it opened a door that had been waiting for her the whole time. I know what the skeptical part of you is thinking right now. You have heard 1,000 things like this. You have downloaded frequency apps before. You have tried meditations that promised shifts. Most of them did nothing, and you are right to be tired of promises. Here is what is different. Dr. Lake's sequence is not a mood track. It is not ambient music. It is a measured wave pattern tested in research conditions, engineered specifically to induce gamma without the usual 30-minute ramp-up. That is the entire premise of the work. The specific audio he built is called the Genius Song, and I know the next thing that surfaces, the cost. Because the moment anything has a price attached, a part of the chosen one mind wants to dismiss it as another thing being sold to them. So let me handle that directly. If you priced this tool the way similar research-grade audio tools are priced, you would be looking at something between $200 and $500. That is the normal market range. The published price is $49. For the people coming through messages like this one, through what Dr. Lake calls the Chosen One mission, the price is $39. I want you to sit with that number for a moment, not as a sales pitch, as a choice point. 40 minutes of this message has cost you nothing. The question is not whether you can afford the tool. The question is whether you are actually ready to close the bandwidth gap that kept you asleep for the last 2 years. In your mind right now, wherever you are, ask yourself one quiet question, not whether you should buy anything. Ask whether you are ready to step into the window I just described. The answer, whatever it is the answer. If you have been feeling the weight of a closing window while listening to this message, waiting another month to address it is the exact pattern we just diagnosed. Comfort paralysis will always whisper later. Decision fatigue will always say, tomorrow. The whole point of the 3 paths is to interrupt that voice once. If you keep operating at the same frequency you have been operating at, you will keep missing the same windows you have been missing. The tool is not the window. The tool is the ladder to the frequency where you can finally see the window. That is the only reason I am telling you about it. One thing I want you to know directly. Since Dr. Lake's work became visible, there are now other audio products using similar language, claiming similar results. Some of them are decent. Most of them are not. I mention this not to scare you, but so you do not get confused. The sequence he built is specific. It is not the same as a generic binaural beat file you can find for free in 10 seconds. Protect your ears and protect your wallet. If this resonates with you, the link in the pinned comment below takes you to chosenfrequency.com, where the original version of the Genius song lives, along with a couple of companion pieces he has built over the years, like Destiny's Embrace and The Youthful Brain. You will know if it is for you. If it is not, walk away freely. Nothing about this message was contingent on whether you take that next step. All right, that is the third path. Put all of that to the side for a moment. What I am about to close with has nothing to do with a tool, it has to do with you. Before this message ends, I am going to do what I told you I would do in the first 3 minutes. I am going to speak something over your life that I believe will stay with you long after this video is over, long after the tools and the frameworks fade, long after this hour is something you can barely remember. Come with me into the last part. This is where the message lands. Put the tool, the audit, the calendar, all of it to the side. I do not want you to leave this message thinking about purchases or protocols. I want you to leave it thinking about who you are. But first, I owe you one honest thing. If you try the 72-hour audit and the first attempt does not shift anything, that is normal. If you do the 48-hour contrast and the first round feels empty, that is normal. If the frequency practice does not crack you open on day one, that is also normal. Kairos forgives attempts. Kairos does not forgive indifference. The windows of your life have layers, not single moments. The first crack does not always look like light. Sometimes it looks like nothing. Sometimes it looks like a day that felt exactly like every other day, and then, a week later, something small and unexpected happens, and you realize the week before was the door beginning to open. Come back to the harbor for a moment. The ship you have been watching is still visible. It has been moving the whole time we have been talking, but it has not disappeared. The horizon has not swallowed it. That means the path is still there. That means the first attempt that did not land is not the same thing as a closed door. Do not confuse the slowness of the shift with the absence of it. Remember the chrysalis. The cracking is not one motion, it is sustained pressure. The shell does not break on the first push. It breaks when you keep pushing at exactly the places where the old shape can no longer hold. Your kairos works the same way. Your shift has already begun. What you are being asked to do is stay with it. Now, I want to take you somewhere in your mind before we close. Wherever you are right now, whatever position your body is in, I want you to do something small with me. If your eyes are open, let them soften. If you are driving, keep them on the road and just turn down everything else in the car. If you are in bed, let your body stay exactly where it is. In your mind, I want you to build a picture. You are standing in front of a doorway made entirely of light, not bright, not harsh, warm. The kind of light that feels like the last hour before sunset, when everything in the world turns golden and quiet at the same time. That doorway is not a metaphor. That doorway is your kairos window, made visible for this moment only. It has been standing in front of you for weeks. Your sleeping eyes have been walking past it. Your waking eyes are about to see it. Now look down at your feet and notice something you did not expect. You are not standing on a shore anymore. You are not watching the ship leave. You are on the ship. You have been on it the whole time. The harbor, the grey water, the disappearing horizon, all of it was the picture your sleeping mind painted, because sleeping minds always paint themselves as the ones being left behind. But your waking self has been on board since before you opened this message. The missing was an illusion of your own sleep. Breathe that in. Let it settle into the place in your chest where you have been carrying the fear of being too late. That fear never matched the truth. The truth is that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, at exactly the hour you are supposed to be there, and the doorway in front of you is not a last chance. It is the current chance. It is this chance. It is yours. I want to acknowledge something now before we seal any of this. You came into this message carrying weight. Some of it was named in the last 40 minutes. Most of it was not. There are seasons of your life behind you that were harder than anyone around you understood. There were hours you sat alone wondering if anything was happening, if anyone was paying attention, if any of it was being recorded somewhere that mattered. It was being recorded, all of it. And the fact that you are here, still listening, still willing to sit inside a quiet moment without reaching for your phone, is evidence of a kind of faithfulness that most people never develop. Nothing about what you have walked through was wasted. Nothing. Now, the release. I want you to take a slow breath with me. Breathe in through your nose. Hold for a count of 3. And when you exhale, I want you to let something specific leave your body. On this first breath, release the weight of every window you think you missed before this one. Every season you think you walked past. Every hour you think you slept through. It is done. Breathe it out. Take one more breath, slow in, and, on the exhale, release the shame of being a person who did not know. Release the harshness you have been turning on yourself for not seeing sooner. You are not behind. You were being prepared. Breathe it out. One last breath. Slow in. On this exhale, release the voice that keeps saying, "It is too late." That voice does not belong to you. It never did. Let it leave with this breath, and do not pick it back up. Now, feel your shoulders. Notice how they are lower than they were when you first started listening. Notice how your jaw is softer. Notice how something in your chest, something you did not even know was tight, is finally loose. That is what kairos recognition feels like. Your body just told the truth. Now, I want to speak something over your life. Not a prayer in the ordinary sense, not a blessing in the ordinary sense, a naming. Because names are what windows respond to. And I am about to name what you are. You are the one who recognizes divine timing, and this moment is yours. You are the one who wakes up while others stay asleep, and this moment is yours. You are the one chosen for this exact hour, not the last one, not the next one, this one, and this moment is yours. And I hear the Father saying this clearly, without any softness left over, because some moments deserve the full weight of the voice. I have never measured your life the way you have been measuring it. I have never counted your hours. I have counted your recognitions, and you are inside one right now. The door is not a test. The door is the answer. Walk through it. You are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, other chosen ones are coming out of the same sleep at the exact same hour you are coming out of it. This is not just your moment. This is a generational kairos, and you are inside it, And the fact that so many of you are waking up together is not coincidence, it is design. Do not say Amen yet. I want you to sit inside this for a full minute before we close. Do not move. Do not reach for anything. Do not open a new tab. Let what was just declared settle into the parts of you that have been sleeping for years. Good. It is sealed. And one more thing, before I let you go. The clock was never the enemy. The clock was just a clock. Your sleep was the enemy. And the reason this message reached you, the reason something made you stop long enough to listen, is that the part of you that has been trying to wake up for months finally succeeded. You are awake now. That is the truth of this moment. Let it be the truth of the next one too. If any of this reached a place in you that has been unreached for a while, I want to ask you to do 3 small things. Not for me, for yourself. Subscribe to this channel, because messages like this one are built for a specific kind of chosen one. And if this space does not know you are here, the next message that was made for you may not reach you. Share this with the one person in your life who has gone unusually quiet in the last few weeks. You know who I am talking about. They are inside the same closing window you are, and they need someone to be the voice that made them stop. Be that voice. And in the comments, I want you to tell me which of the 5 signs hit you the hardest. The postponement, the tiredness, the heightened emotion, the time distortion, the pull. Just write one of those words. Just one. I read them. I see every one. And one final reframe before you go. What just happened here was not a video. It was the alarm that finally reached you. You have been hearing it quietly for months. Today, something about the timing, the tone, the hour, something made you stop long enough to let it land. The question now is not whether you heard it. The question is what you do inside the next 72 hours. Go do the first small thing. Go pick up the ladder. Go walk through the door. You are not running out of time. You are waking up inside time. And this moment is yours.